Ha ha, ha ha ha. Honestly, you guys, that's the laugh you're getting from me tonight. This win was not inspiring whatsoever. It's great for us, a 1-0 win, especially during this period of the season where we have 2 more games left until the season ends. And, I've been saying for a while, I'm feeling confident that we are going to secure a top 4 finish. Especially when you consider that Leicester City have 3 difficult games before the season ends. And it does get you wondering, how did their fixture list line up to be this way? How are they playing so many hard games near the end of the season? Who knows, speak to Sky, but it's really working out beautifully in our favour, you guys, and it seems like we are destined to get a top 4 finish. The goal came courtesy of Giroud, who I thought was very professional today. I thought that, his attacking instincts were good. He was getting on the end of so many moves, but I kind of felt like a lot of times he just wasn't showing that confidence by striking the ball properly with his right foot. He was attempting so many shots with his left foot throughout the entire game today that, it seemed like the only way he was going to score was if he got a shot on goal using his heads. And 9 times out of 10, if you give Giroud a beautiful cross, which Pulisic did do, he's going to put that ball in the back of the net. So thank God that happens. Of course, it was terrible defending by Norwich, and in that sense, we were lucky that we played against Norwich after our devastating defeat to Sheffield United just a few days ago, because they really humbled us, they really outplayed us. And as I told you guys, it reminded me of the game against Bayern, where they were the 2 teams I saw this season that really outplayed us during this campaign. So in that sense, to play against an already relegated Norwich City team is the perfect game that you could possibly play, because for all the things I was hearing about Norwich showing that, yes, we're relegated, but now we can play our football, we have no pressure to worry about. Wow. I just thought that their performance for most of the game was just really weak in that sense. They never tested us, they didn't really do anything, and they literally parked the bus. I'm thinking, you're relegated. Play for pride, play for the fun of your last remaining few games and minutes in the Premier League at least. But that wasn't the case, and I think ultimately that was where we really profited, because if we played against any other team in this division who have much better quality than Norwich City, I feel like they could have punished us and this game could have been much harder in the first place. But I'm going to speak about the big talking points from the game today, and I'm going to start with the midfield, because for me, this was the first time we saw Ruben, Korver and Jorginho playing in the midfield 3 together since Sarri ball days from last season. And in that sense, the tactics weren't identical to Sarri ball. I know we saw some similarities with the lineup, but the way we played it wasn't exactly the same, and I felt like there wasn't much synergy from our midfield. I think the thing that we lacked the most was that intensity, and in that sense, it's not really surprising knowing that Ruben's playing in the team and, he's barely played any football. I mean, no, not barely played. He hasn't played football in 13 months. So naturally coming back, he's going to be rusty. And it's the main reason why Lampard stated categorically in his press conference to wait for Ruben for next season, where he's going to come back even stronger and even sharper. So in that sense, Ruben did suffer some, 2 nasty tackles. And I was happy that he just continued to play his game. He wasn't fazed by things, and I felt like as the game was going on, he was starting to show glimpses of his individual quality and his technique with like some nice first touches, some beautifully weighted passes as well, etc, etc. But in Ruben's case, we need to wait for him for next season. But of course, when you're playing him, and you can afford to play him in a game like this, but Norwich are already relegated. They're playing with no intensity. They're literally parking the bus. In that sense, you're not going to be punished as much for that lack of intensity in his pressing, and in that sense, I'm going to be a bit more forgiving in regards to Ruben compared to your Korvers and in particular your Jorginhos, because I don't know, I do want to be objective, I do want to be fair. You guys know on this channel I've stated countless times, so many times, the tactical reasons why Jorginho doesn't suit how we play. I don't even want to repeat myself again, because I feel like I'm saying it time and time again. There's tactical reasons behind why he isn't as effective in this system anymore. But even before that, I saw that Jorginho, for his limitations, especially with his passing and his defensive abilities, he still played with effort. He still played with that intensity, which is something you can't take away from the player. He played with that intensity, and he was sticking at his task. But today, and recently too, he's looked so poor, and it's just like maybe a combination of feeling that lack of confidence from the manager, knowing that maybe Lampard definitely has plans to move the midfield on from Jorginho. Maybe this is adding to his lack of confidence on the field, because wow, In particular in that second half, it was like he was single-handedly trying to get Norwich back in the game because this was really poor, and I think it continues on from his last game against Sheffield United. He forced Cover and Zuma into making yellow card fouls because of giving the ball away, and the fact that Norwich started to get back into the game by targeting Jorginho, pressing Jorginho, winning those balls back. I think that sums up everything we need to know. And for me, our main issue defensively this season has been the midfield, because so many times they lose the ball in crucial areas and there's a massive distance between them and our defense. I think tonight Jorginho really highlighted this issue. He made it so obvious. It won't get any more obvious than this, and for certain people that still don't want to see it, then I don't know, man. Get some new contact lenses, get some glasses. You need to wake up to the game, because it wasn't just his lack of press resistance, because he's never been the most press resistant player. Throughout this season, when him and Kovacic were playing in the pivot together, we were mostly able to play out from the back due to Kovacic's ability to beat any type of press, because he's an exceptional football player. Jorginho, on the other hand, needs that support from his midfielders around him, and when he doesn't have that, you can see a different player. But regardless of the mistakes he made defensively, the things that really annoyed me the most out of anything was his passing selection. I felt like he did nothing with the ball. He didn't add to our tempo. He didn't start any single attacks. His passing forward was poor. Passes were going behind the fullbacks. I felt his passing selection didn't make sense at times. There was one moment in particular, which I even tweeted, where he had an opportunity to play Reece James straight away out wide. Instead, he plays a tepid 5-yard pass to Rudiger. He has to bust the gut to progress the ball forward to then play Reece James out wide. I'm just thinking, you added an extra 2 or 3 moves that were unnecessary when you could have just played Reece James in the first place. And this is what sums it up for me. He's too much of a tempo player. We need a guy that's going to stop the attacks and plays the ball quickly with pace and with swerves. So for me, I feel like this probably has to be Jorginho's last season. Not taking anything away from the player. He's a great player. He just doesn't suit this new way we're playing right now. So I think he's got to go in that sense, you guys. But anyway, to move on, and you know, even the reason why I'm speaking about Jorginho is because for me, he was probably the biggest talking point in the entire game today, because today was pretty quiet. It was pretty tepid. Not much really happened other than some few moments of individual class and Pulisic, who produced this this ridiculous first touch control and then second touch half volley shot, which was very unlucky to not go in the back of the net. What I liked about Christian's performance too is that, yeah, in the second half he wasn't as involved in the game, but I think we have to realise Christian isn't our Eden Hazard. He isn't the new Eden Hazard. He plays a lot higher up. You know, his game became more patient in the second half and he was waiting for opportunities, and when he gets that ball in the area, he comes alive and he produces something. You know, he's a completely different profile of player to Hazard. And, you know, as the season's gone on and as I've understood his game even more, you know, I'm starting to understand and respect, you know, what he brings to the field and, you know, what makes him so dangerous. So in that case, I thought he was decent tonight. But going on after that, you guys, I think that the team kind of wasn't able to fully function because that midfield just wasn't correct throughout the game. And this is why I said in my predicted lineup video yesterday that I wanted to see Lampard use a pretty similar team to the one used against Sheffield United, because I wanted to see a reaction. I wanted to see these players prove to Lampard that, listen, this was a blip, this was a mistake, you know, I can come back, this ain't me, I'm better than this, and I'm going to prove it to you tonight. I think that would have been better for us than using another heavily rotated team, because I think at times it just doesn't help things. I think that lack of synergy that you see at times, you know, throughout the game today, there was so much sideways passing, tepid passing, so much predictable play where, you know, as I'm constantly emphasizing, thank God we played against Norwich, because every other team defends those opportunities with much better quality and much more easily. As we've seen time and time again, at times we can produce too many crosses inside the box that do absolutely nothing. And even the goal in which Giroud scored, the manner of that goal came from a Norwich City defender making a mistake. I think his name was Klosterman. It wasn't good enough, and that mistake gave us the win, so we can't be too upset by that. He did come through for us. And one thing that really stuck out to me was how static we looked at times. You know, we're playing against a deep look. I want to see late arrivals inside the box. That's what you see teams like your Liverpools and your Man Cities do constantly, because that's how you break down these deep defensive teams. You know, there was a lot of times today where I saw Giroud dropping deeper, vacating space behind him, and I saw no one attacking that space. That can't be happening. Someone has to be doing that. You know, Giroud can't be dropping deeper and then busting the gut himself to get back into that very same position. That can't be happening. So I think that it highlights that this is still like the first year of what Lampard's trying to bring. It highlights that this wasn't our full strength team. It highlights that this wasn't a team at its best stamina wise either. And it also highlights the need for better quality attacking players next season, which the club are already investing in. And it's quite obvious why in that sense. So, I don't know. This win, of course, I'm happy, but it wasn't really inspiring. I wasn't really excited throughout the game today. And, you know, if anything, I'm still kind of worried for this upcoming game against Manchester United, whose form is still decent. They have been our bogey team this season. They've looked comfortable against us at times, and I hope that Lampard finds the best solution against them because, you know, this is a big opportunity for us to get some silverware for this season. So let's see what happens in this respect, you guys. Again, not the most inspiring match review I've done this season because this was probably the least inspiring game. It was quite poor at times, I'm going to keep it real, you guys. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I'm going to let you guys know I'm not going to be doing a player ratings video for this game because I'm not feeling too inspired and I'm quite tired too after seeing that game. I had to drink coffee just to stay awake for this game. So it really sums everything up, you guys. I'm going to wrap things up now. Thank you for watching. I'm MimiFC. This is Blue Lines TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.